Hey y'all, I'm Chinbit Ermias, and it's NPR's Book of the Day. Susanna Hoffs loves music. As a co-founder of the popular 80s band The Bangles, she's known for leaning into the narrative magic of music. So it seems natural that she's just finished a book. In this interview with NPR's Andrew Limbong, Hoffs says there's stories in all songs. The book is titled This Bird Has Flown. It's a story about a 30-something musician who tries to juggle a flailing music career and a fledgling romance. But it's also a love letter to the messy moments that make up the pursuit of each. And who better to write about stardom's less-than-sexy moment than Hoffs, whose keen eye for details illuminate a story and really make it sing. Here she is with Andrew.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Chevrolet. Chevrolet is determined to offer purposeful solutions that can help make driving more accessible for everyone. It's why they created the 2023 Traverse, a great option for people with disabilities. It has style, space, including clever cargo solutions and rear storage for wheelchairs, and hands-free functionalities to help make traveling more comfortable and efficient. Chevy Accessibility, engineered to go forward. Learn more at chevy.com/accessibility.
There are certain indignities that you have to endure on the road to music stardom. Sometimes you just have to play a crappy show for an annoying audience because that's the job. That's the situation Jane Start finds herself in the new romance book, This Bird Has Flown. And who better to write a book about finding love while enduring the music industry than Susanna Hoffs, co-founder of the Bangles.
I love it in your room at night. You're the only one who gets through to me.
Susanna Hoffs, welcome to All Things Considered.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
All right, so let's start with your main character, Jane Start. She's 33. She's got one big hit under her belt, and it happens to be a cover. Has she been bubbling in the back of your head for a bit?
Well, the whole journey of writing the book was so unexpected and unexpectedly delicious, actually. It occurred to me that I had this opportunity from my own experience as a musician and in the music business that I could bring a lot to the story, just knowing that world specifically. And so I began to design the character as not only as a musician, but someone who was considered a, in quotes, one-hit wonder, and then never able to, get back to that moment of glory with that one big hit. And we find her 10 years past the song being a hit.
So about midway through the book, Jane gets an opportunity to go on tour. I was wondering if you could read a specific section I have. It's chapter 22, Dead Things.
Oh, yes. Okay. There are musicians who do truly love the road, the fun, the camaraderie, the partying, the booze, the God knows what else. But what about having to pee into Dixie cups, crouched behind some RV with a stopped-up toilet in Canada, in a freezing field mere moments before you're meant to be on stage?
Okay. There's like a specificity to this passage that I just have to imagine it comes from personal experience.
Yes. I think that I'm not alone. I believe it was Juliana Hatfield. I read her memoir, and I think she recounted the old, being for some situation or another on a road where, there's literally no place to go pee and you're left to your own devices. Like, is there a plastic cup here in the dressing room that might come in handy?
A romance book is nothing without love interests, and I want to ask you about Tom, the main guy here. I find his charm in this book unique. He's not like the rich, arrogant type, right? He's not a bad boy. He's not like a lovable screw-up. I was having trouble actually trying to think of who'd play him in a movie because he doesn't quite fit into any archetypes. He's just like a nice, kind man. And the central conflict instead comes from just like a trust between them. Can you talk a little bit about writing him?
Yeah, I mean, I just loved that he was, the things that she had missed in relationships before meeting him, he had just an overt feeling of integrity about him as a human being, a kindness. It was somewhat difficult to figure out what words to stick in his mouth, as the god of this universe.
I said like I had trouble picturing who could play him.
Yeah.
Do you have any do you have any people in your mind?
Well, this is going to be funny. Well, I made a mood board and I had just every once in a while, I would look at it as I was describing the shape of a face, the eyes, and I had a photo of Michael Fassbender.
Oh.
I know, from like a slightly earlier picture, but his face was very useful for putting in the description of Tom. There was something in the shape of the face. Just I had that in
wow.
my mood board.
Wow, that's completely a different direction than what I was thinking. Okay, yeah.
What were you? What
I was
were you
I was
thinking?
my best guess would have been like an English Chris Pine. He's got like a sort of like a boyish kind, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I saw kind of a slightly more austere. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
That's so
interesting.
interesting. Well,
Yeah.
isn't that the wonderful thing about fiction?
Yeah. We can cast it on our own in our heads, yeah.
Exactly, precisely.
Obviously, music plays a big part in this book. The title comes from a Beatles song. Jane uses music to connect with like everyone close to her, not just with Tom, but to her brother and her friends too. What are the songs that remind you of the important relationships in your life?
Oh, so many. I feel like there's a song for everything you need, for what ails you. They're like medicine. So there's this beautiful song, The Waters of March.
A spear, a spike, a point, a nail, a drip, a drop, the end of the tale.
To me, this is a song for like when you're really anxious and you just need a reset. Or for me, I listen to Let's Go Crazy by Prince often first thing in the morning.
Don't lie, was you living in?
Often it brings tears to my eyes. It's like a sermon. There's such a story within that song. There's stories in all songs, but that one I need in the morning often, just for courage. Spirit in the Sky is another one that I've shared with people who are like facing a big exam or they're headed to a job interview. I don't know what it is about that song, just that opening, that groove coming in.
What song would Jane listen to in the morning?
You know what? I think Jane might listen to Dionne Warwick singing one of the great Burt Bacharach Hal David songs, like I'll Never Fall in Love Again.
What do you get when you fall in love? A guy with a pen to burst your bubble.
Anyone Who Had a Heart.
Anyone who had a heart would take me in his arms and love me too.
Walk On By.
I'll break down and cry. Walk on by. Stop.
This book is due for a movie adaptation, right? And you're
Yeah.
you're done with the screenplay?
I have turned it in, yeah.
How does it feel to have this new artistic career path as a writer?
It feels, can I swear? No, I probably
Yeah,
can't.
sure, give it a shot. We can bleep it
feels
out.
great. It feels amazing. I don't know. Everyone has characterized writing as this painful experience. And yet for me, though it took a lot of concentration and a lot of hours and a lot of dedication, I found it so transporting and permission to live in my fantasy world with my fantasy characters.
Well, Susanna Hoffs, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great.
Oh my God, such a pleasure.
Her new book is called This Bird Has Flown, and her new album is The Deep End.
Oh, would you be so kind as to fall in love with me? You see, I'm trying. I know that you know
Numbers that explain the economy. We love them at The Indicator from Planet Money, and on Fridays, we discuss indicators in the news, like job numbers, spending, the cost of food, sometimes all three.
So my indicator is about why you might need to bring home more bacon to afford your eggs.
Ba-doom.
I'll be here all week.
Wrap up your week and listen to the Indicator podcast from NPR.